Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, students? I hope that you're all fine. Inshallah, in this video, I'm going to start with a new lesson from Unit 7 and which talks about Oliver Twist. So the title of the lesson is Oliver Twist. It's on your student books, page 62. Please, all of you open your books, page 62, and pay attention and take all the notes. So let's start. Now, Oliver Twist is what? It's a novel, right? And it's written by whom? It's written by Charles Dickens. We have discussed this thing in the previous videos. Okay? We have mentioned that one of the most famous, novels or writings of Charles Dickens was what? Was Oliver Twist. Okay? Now, before we go through the lesson, let's just take or look at the outcomes of the lesson. So the lesson's outcomes are: you are going to learn and understand the meaning of a new vocabulary. So we have some new vocabulary that we have to learn. Scan an exposition for particular information. And we are going to talk about the blurb of a book. Okay. Demonstrate understanding of a book review by answering questions. So we are going to talk about or read about a review of Oliver Twist and then answer some questions about it. Today, inshallah, we are going only to deal with the first and the second outcomes, inshallah. Let's start with the first part of the outcomes, which is what? Learning new vocabulary. Now, the most important vocabulary here was what? Blurb. Altogether, blurb. Okay? What is a blurb? A blurb is a short description on a book or a product giving information about it. So again, a blurb is a short description on a book or a product giving information about it. Look at this book here. Look at this book here. What do we have? There's what? There's a blurb. Okay? At the end of each book, okay, at the back side, let's say, at the back side of each book, you have a blurb which tells you information about the book. What is this book about? If it is a novel, what is this novel about? What is this novel about? Or what is this play about? And so on. Okay? So a blurb is a short description on a book or a product giving information about it. Now, Oliver Twist's novel, as a novel or as a book, has its own blurb also. This is the blurb of Oliver Twist. Let's read it. Okay, and please pay attention for the pronunciation of each word. And then I'll ask you a question about it. Oliver Twist is an orphan who lives in a Victorian workhouse. Life is cruel there, and Oliver suffers a lot. At the age of 11, he escapes to London, where he meets a boy called Artful Dodger and a man called Fagin, who is the leader of a group of thieves. They are kind to Oliver, but try to teach him to steal. Luckily, Oliver also finds good friends, like Mr. Brownlow and Rose Maylie, who want to look after him. But can they protect him from the difficult life of a poor homeless boy in the 19th century London? So, this blurb gives us the idea of the book or of the novel, right? So what is the novel about, or what's the book about? It's about a boy called Oliver Twist. And he is what? He's an orphan. Okay, he is what? He is an orphan. And what's the meaning of an orphan? Someone who has someone dead, or someone who doesn't have a mother or father, that his mother or father is dead. Okay, اللي هو اليتيم. So what's the meaning of orphan? It means yatim. Okay. طيب. Now the questions here that you have to answer, we have 2 questions in your books, page 62. At the top of page 62, we have 2 questions. Now, after reading the blurb, we have to know where and when does the story take place. Where and when does the story take place? Okay? Where, we mean a place. When, we need what? A time. So when and where does the story take place? It took place, or it takes place in the 19th century in London, right? It takes place in the 19th century in London. Okay, now who is the main character? Who is the main character? What's the meaning of character? شخصية. Who's the main, the most important character in this novel? It's of course Oliver Twist. Okay? So, the book or the novel talks about Oliver Twist, who is an orphan who lives in a Victorian workhouse. Life is cruel there. And Oliver, what's the meaning of cruel? We have mentioned that before. Cruel, which means what? Very bad. Okay? Harsh. And Oliver suffers a lot. At the age of 11, he escapes to London. He goes to London, okay, where he meets a boy called Artful Dodger and a man called Fagin. So he meets 2 characters, okay? What are these characters, or who are these characters? Artful Dodger and a man called Fagin. Who is the leader of a group of thieves? What's the meaning of thieves? Those people who steal things. سارقين. Okay, so this man, Fagin, is what? The leader of a group of thieves. They are kind to Oliver. Kind, they're what? They are kind, they're latifin. They are nice to Oliver, but try to teach him to steal. Luckily, Oliver also finds good friends. This means that these 2 people are what? Or these people are bad guys or bad friends. But he also meets 2 other good friends who are what? Mr. Brownlow and Rose Maylie. Okay? Rose Maylie are these 2 good friends who Oliver Twist meets them. And they, of course, take care, or they take care of Oliver Twist and protect him. Okay? So, this is the blurb. Let's move now to the vocabulary. We have only 4 vocabulary that you have to learn from this review. Let's read them together. Endure. To be in a difficult or painful situation for a long time without complaining. تحمل. Okay? To be in a difficult or painful situation for a long time without complaining. Industrialization. Industrialization. Development of a lot of industry in a certain country or place. اللي هي الصناعة والثورة الصناعية. Okay? تطور الصناعي. Inevitable. Inevitable, it means certain to happen and impossible to avoid. محتم أو أمر محتم. Outrage, a feeling of great anger and shock. الشعور بالغضب الكامل. Okay? So these are the vocabulary that you have to learn. And I read the novel at once. Just listen and try to get the main idea again of the novel or of the review. So again, this is a review. What's the meaning of review? Okay. What's the meaning of a review? اللي هي وجهة نظر أحد القراء أو الكاتب نفسه. Okay. وجهة نظر أحد القراء. Oliver Twist. Oliver Twist is one of Charles Dickens' most famous novels, and it tells the tale of a young orphan named Oliver. Oliver endures difficult times in the 19th century London, a city full of poverty and crime. This story, like many of Dickens's other novels, paints a vivid picture of life for the working class, especially children, during the industrialization of England. Born in a workhouse, Oliver is treated cruelly, and like all children in a similar position, has to work hard at a young age. Because of his kind and timid nature, he is often taken advantage of. One of the novel's most famous lines, "Please, sir, I want some more," is said when Oliver is persuaded by the other boys in the workhouse to ask for another bowl of soup at dinner time. This is unheard of in the workhouse, and Oliver is punished for saying it. The incident is the first of many new obstacles he has to face. As the story progresses, we come across characters like Fagin, a sly old man who takes care of a group of thieving children, the villain, Bill Sikes, and kind Rose and Nancy. Oliver Twist is a story with many different characters, so it can sometimes get confusing because you have to keep track of so many people. However, Dickens is very skilled at using powerful descriptions of his characters to evoke strong feelings in the reader, feelings of sympathy as well as outrage. Because the characters are so well described, they leave a very memorable image in your mind, and this helps to remember who is who. My favorite character is Mr. Brownlow, a kind and generous man who tries to protect Oliver from the life of poverty and crime that seems inevitable for him. After Oliver is wrongly accused of robbery, it is Mr. Brownlow who believes he is telling the truth and saves him. My only complaint was the pace of the book. At the beginning, it progresses quite slowly and then suddenly seems to speed up, leading to confusion at the end. However, none of these things alter my opinion that it is a very fine novel, and it is not difficult to see why it has such a special place in English literature. Now, after I have read this review, do you think that the writer recommends the book? Do you think that the writer recommends the book? What's the meaning of recommend? Recommend. What's the meaning of recommend? recommend يوصف فيها أو يرجحها أو خلينا نحكي إنه يوصل القراء بقراءتها. Does the writer of this review recommend people to read the novel? And which sentences from this review shows that he recommends it or not? Please try to answer this question and send it to me at the school's platform to check them for you. Thank you for watching يا أول. Inshallah, in the next video I'm going to explain the first part of the novel and answer the questions that are related to it. يعطيكم العافية.